Okay, so I have a little bit of time. So that means we can do some more DNA study. So let's get right to it and go to the haplogroup map. Now, this J lineage, of course, being the daughters of Eve, which is a little bit more diverse than the male lineages, even though they mutate less. But here we have there's not all the mitochondrial lineages, but we have some of them. So these over here are the daughters of Shem. These over here are the daughters of Japheth. These over here are the daughters of Ham. So the L is Ham. The C, D, G, Z, M is Japheth, because it's L, M, and N. So all these here are the daughters of Shem. So it's clear to me that there were more daughters of Shem than there were daughters of Japheth. Looks like the most, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 daughters of Japheth. And over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 daughters of Shem. So much so that or Madai himself, one of the sons of Japheth, one of the 7 sons of Japheth, asked Shem to marry one of his daughters, which we've covered before, which would be this A lineage. So this A lineage is that of the descendants of Madai. Then there's this N lineage, and there's this OXW. Now, I guess that would be a different lineage than the A lineage. But they're very closely associated, very closely related. It's hard to say. Maybe then some of the Semitic people married later daughters of Madai. That was the case going way back. Because sometimes they connect these lineages together, sometimes maybe not so much. But the interesting thing is these here. Now over here we have the J and the T, which I'm looking at right now, which I didn't realize was such a large lineage, this J. And look how far back it goes. The J lineage goes back 12,800 years, and it's already in America. So now, was this, I suppose it could have, it's one lineage here. This is all the same lineage in South America, Central America, and North America. Probably J came over with the Medes. It wouldn't be a stretch to say that J came over with the Medes to Central America. And the other lineage that is with J is T, so I wanted to look at that as well. So, but let's go forward in time just to get an idea how full the J lineage is. We'll go forward in time. And of course, noticing that place in the middle of the United States, right here in the middle, there is that huge population or of samples. This is still 4,000. years in Central America there. I mean, Central United States. So you can see now just how big this lineage is of J. It's not even filling out very well. And of course, if it ever does fill out, we can finish looking at the T lineage and see how that compares with the J lineage, because these are actually the same lineage. The J and the T are actually the same lineage, which is interesting because the I and the S are the same lineage, and the O, X, and W are the same lineage, which is very interesting as well. So, and this, I guess the U and the K, we could look at that too. So it's filled out now, so we can actually take a look at this just as a reminder, in case nobody saw this before. We'll try to center it here in the center of the United States and try to figure out what's going on with all these lineages in the same exact place in the United States. Now, it's not just the J lineage, it's a many more Y chromosome lineages, maternal lineages, and everything. And of course, this seems to be associated with the Great Lakes region as well. There, we'll try to center a little bit more. And we'll zoom in some more. We can see it's not one daughter. It's not pointing to one daughter. It's pointing to many daughters. And this is only one lineage like this. The R1A is the exact same thing, even more than what this is showing here. And of course, this lineage goes back way back in time, too. Goes back 12,000 years. You can see the number of samples they have here in this single location. So either they're combining all the people in this general area, or they're trying to hide the information, or who knows what they're trying to do. But it's probably out of convenience just to put it, because there's so many samples from so many different haplogroups that they're just combining them all in this whole area into one image, or one daughter, when it's not just one daughter, or not one image. It's many samples, different samples. Apparently DNA samples. So that's that. Back out again, if it allows us to. And you can see it'll combine into one image, or sort of. And it's not really one image, but eventually it'll get turned into one image. Okay. All right. Hold on. Take it easy. So there we go. There we have it. And it's just amazing how far and wide this is. So what I would like to do now, whoops, to zoom in some more. I would like to now look at the other one, which is the same lineage as J, just a branch off from J, which is T. So this is the mitochondrial DNA. I'm going to put in T here and see if that says, put the T lineage in there. Okay, go ahead and hit this. There it is. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So let's get back into it. I had my coffee and my supplements already, so I'm good to go. Except the computer is a little bit slow. I guess I've been making it work too hard. There we go. T. See how this compares with the J. It looks very much the same. Very much the same. I'm not going to zoom in this time, but you can see it goes into the same place in the center of the United States there, which, I don't know, seems to be associated with the Plains area and the Great Lakes area or whatever. Looks like they just put all the samples in one single location so as not to clutter the map. Otherwise, it'd be very cluttered, I suppose. So there's one that I guess I pushed the icons for the samples, and we're waiting on that. But it's impressive how far and wide these lineages spread. So the J and the T is, I didn't realize how large they were. Both of them. Very, very large. And it's one lineage. And it's a Semitic lineage. So it's Semitic mitochondrial DNA. And just waiting on the icons for the samples. Must be a lot of samples. So we'll just see what happens here. Computer worked too hard. There's George Bond. Hello, George Bond. Good morning. Okay. Let's see. So yeah, these studies are pretty interesting if I don't kick myself off. Very interesting with a mitochondrial DNA, which is actually more diverse. The lineages of the mitochondrial are more diverse than the Y chromosome because, of course, the Y chromosome are of three sons of Noah, whereas the mitochondrial DNA is three random descendants of Eve. Or I don't know if it's me or probably some, you get a lot of things going. There we go. So there's all the lineages. I guess that was worth it to wait. And I'm not going to zoom in to see the same thing what we just saw in center of the United States, the Great Plains region. I guess that's what that is, the Great Plains region. But I suppose we could go back in time if it'll work. Well, maybe not. So in the meantime, we'll look where else we're going to go here. So the other one was the U and the K lineages, which I haven't seen yet, but I have seen the I and the S, which is interesting because the S goes all the way to Australia, and it's a branch off from the I, and the same thing over here with the O, X, and the W. The O is actually is in Australia as well, and it branches off from the W and the X. So it's interesting how they spread far and wide. And again, whenever the lineage is so far removed, they assign another letter to it. So this S in Australia is the same as the I, and the O in Australia is the same as the X and the W. They're just so far removed, they're assigned a different letter designation or haplogroup. So the next one we want to see is a U and a K. Oh, UK. Let's see what this does. I don't know if we should. We'll just go ahead. We'll just skip ahead and go to the U and a K. Maybe that'll be the better idea. See if we can unclutter this browser here. Otherwise, I might have to shut the thing down and restart. Or maybe I'll do that. If it might as well just unclutter it and restart it. See what we got here. Yeah. It's 9:30 p.m. here. It's 9:30 p.m. in Australia. It's 6:30 in the morning over here. 6:30 in the morning over here. So what I'll do, I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to restart it. So I'll just shut it down, the browser window, and I'll restart it and see how that works. If it ever stops, well, maybe it's okay. So open it up again. Okay. Maybe this will work better if I restart it. Okay. There we go. So we're going to the UK now. We got the U. Oh, nothing. Oh, it's a Y chromosome. That's why. You gotta go. Gotta go to the mitochondrial. No wonder there's no U. Okay, U. We'll go to the U. There's UK. We have U and UK. I guess we'll go to the U. See what happens here. in the mitochondrial lineage, which is a Semitic lineage, but this U is like a European or Semitic lineage, but it goes way back. It's an older, I guess it's an older lineage in Europe, is what they seem to say. So, as soon as it loads, we'll be in business. Okay. So we're almost there. We're there. Okay, there we go. Oh, we still didn't load. Shouldn't take too long. And I think it's a European ancient lineage. But of course, I think there's people still have you today, but it's a later lineage. There it is. Showed up finally. So we'll go ahead and click on the lineages first and see where it goes. Looks like it goes all the way to Australia. Uh, so I'm not going to press the sample icons because it might clutter it up too much. So we'll go ahead to the K now and compare it with the K. Of course, each of these lineages you can follow. You can click on any one of these lineages and you can follow them individually as well, which might not be as bad. So we'll go to the UK lineage and see how that works. I don't know if, but of course, it probably goes way back in time as well into the America as well. Probably goes back 12,000 years into America as well. The same as the other lineages that go back 12,000 years. Okay, still waiting on the K. But it's interesting following these, what I thought were more obscure lineages, but they're pretty predominant, especially in the ancient time. Here's the K. It's really looks the same, just not as cluttered, but it looks the same, like the same lineage, same migrations. So that's pretty interesting. So where do we go from here now? We could look at the Eurasian daughters or some more Semitic daughters. We'll go to the O, X, and W. And then the B is in America. The B is interesting too. And the F. Oh, the F. I got to see the F lineage. So we'll go to the F lineage. See how that works. Of course, this is mitochondrial DNA. We got F 1, 2, 3, and 4. I guess we can do them individually. Maybe that'll help. F1. Okay. Some of the more obscure lineages, maybe. And of course, we still have that same place in the center of the United States, the plains, Great Plains of the United States. Okay, here's a Semitic lineage that is in Asia. That's what's interesting about this one. So it's a Semitic lineage in Asia. That would be F1. And seems to have crossed, this is the lineage that seems to have crossed the Pacific with the B lineage into America. So I'm thinking this F lineage is another Semitic lineage that accompanied the B lineage. Clutter up this thing too much. So we'll go to the I and the S. We'll go to the I and the S. I don't know how much was disconnected here. But let's go to the I and the S. Let's go to the S first. Give you an idea, because the S is in Australia and the I is just where where the S lineage came from in Australia. Of course, I think the I might go all the way to India. The S looks like it came back, went all the way to Spain. But the I lineage, let's see what it does. It pretty much has to be connected to the S lineage. It's just that the S lineage is so far removed from the I that it's given a different letter designation, even though it has the same origin, like many of the other ones. Oh, hello, morning. Good morning, Dana. We have, oops, clicked on the wrong one. Greetings. It's 1:40. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. And we have Christian Carpenter. There we go. All right. So yeah, I'm still waiting on the I. There's the I. And yes, the I lineage does go to India. So that's about as close as we can get to Australia. So from India, it probably branched off and went to Australia. Very early on in history, of course. And of course we have the same bunched up people or icons in the Great Plains of the United States. So we can go to the O and we can see the same sort of thing here. So the O is also in Australia. And it would be connected with the rest of the world by way of the W. Because the X, the W, and the O seems to be the same lineage, but it's the W. The X is more to the United States, and the W seems to be the one that's connected, or seems to be the one that's closer to the O. Just go chance it. Just chance doing the whole entire W lineage. There's a W. 4, 3, 4, 6, 7. I don't know how many more. So I'll probably have to wait a little bit on that. There it is, the W. So the W also goes to India, a little bit in um, South China. Actually, it goes all the way to New Zealand. Goes all the way to New Zealand here. So that could be explained how the O got to Australia. So that's pretty interesting there. So we have the I and the S are together. S is in Australia. We have the O, X, and W together. The O is in Australia. The N seems to be a separate lineage, possibly, or it's a branch off from the O, X, and W. The N, of course, being uh, a Semitic mitochondrial lineage that's in the Jewish population. B went to America. F went to North America. B went to Central South. J and the T we saw. UK we saw. HVR is European. That's basically European. There's probably not a whole lot there of surprise, even though it probably does much of the same thing going to the New World, the Americas. But let's just check out the C, D, G, and M lineage. Or actually, and then maybe we can check out some of the L lineages from Africa. Might be interesting. Well, I've done these C, D, G, and M before, but I don't know if that's one lineage or how many lineages that is, but this is all Eurasian. All Eurasian lineages. So we can actually go to another illustration here and see it's M, C, Z, D, G, E, and Q are the Eurasian lineages. So I suppose we can start with a Q and see how that's going to work. We'll go with a Q. Q mitochondrial lineage, of course. I don't know why they have the same letter designations as the Y chromosome, but because it is kind of confusing sometimes. Okay, we have the Q here in Papua New Guinea, in Australia, and the Pacific Islands, some of the Pacific Islands over here. See how far it goes. Goes in the Pacific Islands, some of the South Pacific, and New Zealand. So that's a Q haplogroup. But this is, of course, is Eurasian. So the next in line would be the E. We'll go with the E. See what the E is. Of course, now we're into the Eurasian lineages. So the E, these are all going to be in Eurasia, basically, unless they spread out a lot. Okay, there's the E lineages in South Asia, which is pretty interesting. And what do you know? Lo and behold, we have the same Great Plains, Central Plains of the United States location for the sample of the daughters of Japheth. Crossing the Pacific, or maybe even crossing the Bering Strait to America from South Asia. From South Asia, so who knows? Maybe they did cross the Pacific. So that's E. Now we have G. Go ahead and follow the G lineage, Eurasian lineage. It's G 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Maybe this is a bigger lineage. So it might take a little while. Let's see who we got. That's what we got here. JJ and I go back to those LPP days and Miss John Maddox epic after shows. Yep. Logical, probable, and possible and probable. Yep. Might even go back before that. George is one of my favorite conversations between JJ named Peter. Oh, Peter, yeah. On LPP channel. Jay took that guy to school. Yeah, something about Europeans. I don't think they're getting a very good education in Europe sometimes, Oh, I remember that guy. LPP, the best after shows. Okay, I talk to John regularly on WhatsApp. There you go. It's good to hear because I hadn't heard from him. That's a good thing. MtDNA, which sworn to Indian Ocean from India. There is the MtDNA. Yes, it's Asian, Eurasian, Japhetic, which sworn into Indian Ocean from Yemen to India. Are they Japhetic populations? Which is not Shem. It's a Eurasian lineage. Now, can be mixed in with other, ethnic groups, but it is a Eurasian lineage from Japheth, from the daughters of Japheth, or the daughter of Japheth. However many daughters there were. Yep, all the way back to Nephis. Nephis. And yeah, Neph goes back a long way too. Yep. All right. So now we have the G lineage, Eurasian again. And I guess next we'll do the M, maybe, lineage. Because the M is like the precursor, the oldest lineage. Okay. Put in some icons there. Again, with the Central Plains in the United States, you zoom in, there's a whole bunch of icons there. Of course, they probably had the same thing in Europe too, but I just haven't had the time to look at them very much. But this is the G lineage of the Eurasian haplogroups, mitochondrial lineage. Okay, then there's the D, Z, C, and M. We'll look at the M right now, keeping in mind we just did the G, right? So we'll look at the M lineage. And we got an M2, an M6, and an M5. We'll go with the M2 and see what the locations are. But this G is basically Central Asia. So the farther back in time, the farther west it'll be. Of course, Eurasians' lineages would have been maybe north and east a little bit way back in time, but not a whole lot. This is M2. It's there's some in Saudi Arabia, some in Iran, and India. We'll check the other ones. There's a M. What happened to the other ones? Oh, that's because, never mind. That's because it's M2. Okay, so it's, what? I don't want M2. I want M. Anyways, M2, we did M2, so we'll go with M. Let me see how many more. 3. Okay, we'll go with M3. Try to keep track. So yeah, this is a Eurasian lineage because it goes L, M, and then N. The L is Hamitic, the M is Eurasian, and the N lineage is Semitic. So now this one's spread out quite a bit. Looks like it's in Yemen. It's in Saudi Arabia. It's in the New World. I don't know how far back the lineage goes. Not very far back. But it's in South America. Wow, it's in Guyana. Going back 6,000 years in Guyana. Because David USA was saying, he keeps talking about the D lineage off the coast of Africa. But I'm thinking D mitochondrial, but he's talking about DY haplogroup. There's a DY haplogroup that went off the coast of Africa here and is in African populations. He keeps talking about the D Y chromosome in the African populations, which seems like it wouldn't be, but it is. Well, because remember the D is the one that went over here to South China, split in two. One group went to Tibet, the other group went to Japan. But there's also a lineage that goes all the way over here to the coast of Africa and is in African populations in the Caribbean and Mexico and places. So that's pretty interesting. But every time he says, I keep thinking mitochondrial, but he's talking about Y chromosome. So, but this lineage goes back about 6,000 years too, which isn't as far back as the Medes, but that's pretty far back. That would be like days of King Solomon or something. But it could have been a totally separate thing because it's going, you can see it goes to Africa. It's in the mainland of Africa, apparently. Here, it's got a number there. The M3A1, A5. So it must be in Africa. And it goes all the way to Guyana. Pretty far back. I don't know if it was slave trade or not. I guess maybe it was slave trade. I don't know. Hard to say. But it is pretty far back in time. 6,400 years ago, be like 3,000 years ago. Maybe. Let's go to the other M. It's M. We did 2, 3, no 4. Groups. Maybe is a good thing. Because maybe they're too large to do all in one shot. Oh, let's go back here, see what's going on here. Let's see, WhatsApp. There's David, USA. The M. It's a bit. Okay, I think. There it is. Okay. Can you show me the MtDNA populations in Japan? Can you divide the populations by MtDNA between Shem, Ham, and Japheth? Will it help if the Y falls D, 1B, or D2 Hamitic in the Joman people? Yeah, the D is in the Joman people in Japan and the Tibetans. And that's the one that goes off the coast of Africa too. But you can separate up the mitochondrial in between L, M, and N. So the L is African, the M is Eurasian, or everything after the M up until the N. Once you go to the N, then that's all Semitic, as illustrated here. You got L1, 2, and 3 is African. M, C, Z, D, G, E, and Q is Eurasian. And then the N, I, W, A, X, Y, R, B, F, H, V, P, J, T, U, K, which we were looking at. These are all Semitic. So I'm still doing the M. Let me see if I can get back to the map here. And we got the M5 now. So the M5 somehow got to Americas, just fell out of the sky, right in, the Great Plains region, just fell out of the sky. Going back 3,500 years. I don't know, that's a big jump somehow. From a lineage here all the way to over here. Of course, the mitochondrial lineages do jump quite a bit more because there's less mutations in the mitochondrial lineage, so they tend to jump a lot more. So we'll go to M6, see how that works. See if that won't be too much trouble. There's the M6. It's Central Asia, I guess, basically. And see if there's an M7. Oops, what happened here? M6. Was there an M7? Yeah, there's an M7. which is I guess you might say it's the original Eurasian lineage or the first Eurasian lineage. And it seems to be located in Central Asia, pretty much, as far as I can tell. Okay, so there we go. The M7. Now this looks like East Asia, pretty much. And it goes to the Great Plains region in the United States as well. Oops, going back not very long. So it might be recent migrations. Some of these that fall out of the sky are probably recent migrations with the help of airplanes. Tend to be able to jump a lot more that way. So yeah, the M seems to be located throughout Central Asia, now East Asia, South Asia anyway. And so what do we have next? We have well, the C goes to America. Z will go with the Z. The D goes to America, and the G, we already did the G. We'll look at the Z real quick, and then I want to show the migration of the Medes to America, to Central America, early on. So we'll go with a Z, I guess, Z. And Z might be part of that. Z might be part of that migration going to America early on. So we'll have to wait till it loads. Instead of going through each lineage separately, I think it'll load okay. Because I did it before. So yeah, the migrations of the Medes, when the Medes went up, they went up conquering everybody. They went, the Z stays in, well, drops in the Central Plains region. And going back. Wow. 10,600 years. Yeah. So the Z is possible, or who knows, maybe it came another way. But I guess it's possible to have accompanied the Medes when the Medes came through the Mediterranean off the coast of Africa and landed in Central America and spread out from there. Now, not only that, we'll look at the C mitochondrial before we switch over to the Y chromosome. We'll look at the C mitochondrial haplogroup, which is still Eurasian. So when the Medes came from Asia, they brought the Eurasian C mitochondrial haplogroup with them through the Mediterranean off the coast of Africa to Central America. The same thing is true with the D. But I want to show this because this is a news to me, just past week of this migration that happened with the Medes, which I didn't realize. Because the Medes go up in Europe too. The Medes were in Europe, along with the W and some of the mitochondrial DNA. It's Semitic. Okay, here's the C. Now, this is interesting because it came from Central Asia. I'm going to have to back up here in time. And came, it seems clear to me, it came with the Medes, the Q haplogroup, and boom, to Central America and spread out from there, as we can see, spreading out from Central America. Now, this is the Native American population that has this C haplogroup. Same thing with the D. Of course, the mitochondrial jumps around a lot more, but when you go to the Y chromosome, you can see the actual movement of the Medes through the Mediterranean, off the coast of Africa, to Central America, the same place in Central America, and then spreading out with the same pattern that spreads out with the C and the D and the A haplogroup. So we'll go ahead and look at the mitochondrial A again, which is Semitic, which is the Semitic lineage that the Medes had with them because Madai asked to marry one of the daughters of Shem. So we'll look before we switch to the, so that's 4 independent lineages. Before we switch over to Y chromosome, we're going to look at these 4 lineages, the C, the D, and the A. They all have the same pattern. Now, keeping in mind that when you go back in time, when the Medes were here, means that everybody was farther west, closer to Mesopotamia at the time. So the Medes were closer to Mesopotamia, and here we go with the same pattern going way back in time. Of course, these lineages go back way back in time, and they are the lineage of Native Americans. So it's no question about whether or not they're Native American. They are all Native American. And you can see when you go back in time, 20,000 years, you have the D in America. And boom, there it is. Of course, it wouldn't have come from East Asia. It would have come from closer this way because it before they went east, the Medes came west, and they went all the way to the Lydians. So let's look at the A real quick. The A haplogroup, which is Semitic. It's the daughters of Shem. Now we have 2 confirmations so far in this video, right? The C, the D. Now we're going to have the A, and then we're going to have the Q, where we can actually follow the lineage through the Mediterranean, off the coast of Africa to Central America with the same exact spread from Central America, which is news to me because I had always thought that they crossed the Bering Strait into America, but no, they crossed. The Medes came when they went up against the Lydians and had a truce with the Lydians. At that very time, they were already also in America. Now, it might be a little bit redundant here, but you can see now with 3 haplogroups, the same pattern, the exact same pattern. that goes from Asia all the way to Central America. You go back in time, it'll cooperate. Okay, going back in time, back in time, back in time. And there we have it. So there's the A, which is a Semitic lineage of the Medes when they went all the way through the Mediterranean off the coast of Africa. And boom, there's one lineage that goes all the way to South America. But then, and of course, this is 12,000 years ago, 11,000, 10,000, 10,000 years ago. And they're in Central America. Of course, these dates aren't correct, they're not right, but if you cut them in half, it's close to being right. Because half of 10,600 years is 5,000 years, which is closer to being correct when you cut them in half. But you can see the same spread from Central America. Now we're going to switch over to the Y haplogroup, and we're going to see the exact same pattern of migration. So here we go, the Y haplogroup lineages, as soon as we get it. And we'll go right with the Q. Of course, Q being the haplogroup of the Medes. So this is going to make the fourth confirmation, the fourth independent lineage or confirmation of the route that the Medes took, with even a more precise uh, evidence of what route they took through the Mediterranean, off the coast of Africa, and all the way to Central America. I'm not sure, but present days of Jewish populations in Israel by mitochondria will be interesting ones between Ashkenazi, Sephardic, Mizrahi Jews, and if you could show me the results on it, because Jewish mom. Yes, we'll have to go with the Jewish mitochondrial DNA of the Sephardic. I might have to look that up, but we can do that. See, the Medes are not the Olmecs, but which is another thing, is how the Olmecs got there. But the Olmecs, they might have been a separate population, but I think the Olmecs might have been there before the Medes, which would be interesting, which is a good question, because the Medes are not the Olmecs as far as I can tell, because the Olmecs have the C paternal haplogroup, the Medes have the Q. So I don't know if they traveled together or if it was a separate migration. So here's the Q haplogroup. And of course, Q is known for being the haplogroup of Native Americans. Okay, wonder of wonders, we have the same exact pattern here. Going back in time, see what we got. There we go. You have the Q in the area this is where the Medes were, by the way. This is the exact area of the Medes, right? And they moved up through Mesopotamia along with the Babylonians. They conquered the Syrians, and then when they encountered the Lydians, they couldn't beat them, so they joined them, basically, or whatever. Then as soon as they encounter the Lydians, you're going to see that they also went through the Mediterranean, off the coast of Africa, straight to Central America. Now watch this. Of course, this is 16,000 years ago. No, it's actually 61, 161,000 years ago, which is absurd. So we have to go way, way, way forward in time for anything to happen because I don't even know why they even have that. It's going to be like 25,000 years. We get to 25,000 years. See what happens here. So I don't even know why they have this that far back in time. There's 20,000 years, 19,000 years, and there it is. Okay. So if you'll notice, the Medes are gone. You can see them going up into Europe. But when they reach the Lydians, right there, 14,000 years ago, when they reached, when they reached the Lydians, come on, cooperate. Come on, come on. Okay, there we go. Anyways, get the idea. As soon as they reach the Lydians, they're already in Central America with the same exact pattern of spread once they reach Central America. This is a little bit more touchy because they put 160,000 year spread there, which is, I don't even know why to do it. They got to take that off, put it back to 25,000 years or something. So there it is, right here. Where's this? That's where the Lydians were, right there. As soon as they reached there, you can see they went through the Mediterranean, off the coast of Africa, and right there they are in Central America with the same exact pattern as this A mitochondrial, the C mitochondrial, and the D mitochondrial DNA. The same exact pattern, same exact spread throughout America from Central America. So go forward in time. There it is. The same appearance, same exact thing. So this is the new discovery, for me anyway, of how Native Americans got to America. The majority of Native Americans. Now what we have to do is look at the C haplogroup. But we might have to look at it individually. But it's clear to me, anyways, that you have 4 separate conformations with 4 separate lineages of the Medes from Asia arriving in Central America and spreading out from Central America. And that is how we got the Native American population that we have today. Okay, we're going to see. The only thing is, I don't know what C lineage. We'll try V20. Or if everybody's got patience, I'll just do C. We'll go with a C haplogroup because it's a big haplogroup, but might be okay. But yeah, the mitochondrial DNA of the Ashkenaz, that's what we have to look next. As a matter of fact, well, this is loading. Maybe we could do that. Because I don't know if I have the mitochondrial DNA lineage of the Ashkenazis. I don't remember it. So let's just go ahead and look for it. Where am I? T, D, and A. Okay, maybe this will get us started. We'll go to the images here. Okay. We've looked at this chart before. Oh, we've looked at this. Well, this is the mitochondria. This would be the mitochondrial of the Sephardic. This is the mitochondrial. This is a Y chromosome here. This is Y chromosome. Y chromosome. No, they're not both Y chromosome. Which one's Y chromosome? I don't know why it's labeled like that. I think this is the Y. This is the Y chromosome here. This would be the mitochondria. We'll go with this in Portugal. So this one in here in Portugal, we'll go ahead and open a new window. Open in image in new tab. Seems to work the best. And it's the mitochondria. So what do we have here? So the Belmonte juice, we have basically HV4 or HV and H for the Belmonte juice. And the Bragança juice, we have, looks like a little bit of T and some blue would be U, some U, some T, and maybe even some X. And the HV and the H. So the Belmonte juice seems only H and HV, which is the original, apparently original Semitic lineage, or one of the ancient lineages. And this other one is has a little bit more, has the T, has the U, and it has looks like it has the X and the HV and H. So that's in Portugal. So we'll back up here, go back here. Let's see. This one here, I don't know if this is Y chromosome. Yeah, this is Y chromosome. So we'll try to find another chart. Lithuanian Ashkenazi Jews. No. Sometimes they don't even have DNA pie charts. Okay. Sephardic. Let's see what this one does. See what this one is. Yeah, this is mitochondrial. So we'll open this one up. Open image in new tab. There we go. And we have the mitochondria, which is the same one. We have the Bragança Jews and the Belmonte Jews. We already looked at. So now we have, wow, we got a lot here. It's basically a smorgasbord of haplogroups, mostly Semitic, basically all Semitic. It's the F, the H, The I, the J, the K, L is Hamitic, M is Eurasian. Then there's N, R, T, U, X. Yeah, it's mostly Semitic. L would be this blue color, M would be this gray color, or brown color, whatever it is, which is hard to tell because it's just color coded. But that's about it. But L would be like a darker blue. So if you see a darker blue here somewhere, that might be the Hamitic mitochondrial DNA. But other than that, it's mostly, as far as I can tell, it's mostly Semitic mitochondrial DNA. Just about a little bit of everything. In Africa, you probably have the L. And this dark color blue seems like it's hard to tell between L and H. So yeah, I don't know where that dark, the color codes don't work very good sometimes. Looks like H14 is what it looks like, the dark color here. But anyways, that's about it there. It's like, can't really distinguish between the colors very well. But this is too dark for this L here, which would be Hamitic. Anyways, I guess it gives you an idea. And M, this M, it's probably not going to be very much because this is Eurasian. The M is Eurasian. Everything else is, besides the L and the M, everything else is Semitic, looks like to me. Okay, so let's see, go back here, see what we got. We got the C haplogroup. And we're going to try to figure out how the C got to Central America and when, which is not even showing. Well, let's put in the icons, the sons of Nimrod. And there we got some sons of Nimrod. Okay. So this is the C. Of course, Nimrod was the king of Mesopotamia. So his descendants did go into Europe and did go into the east and the south, all the way to Australia, of course. Because the C haplogroup, the C and the K are haplogroups from the father to son in Australia. So let's go back in time, see if we can follow this. Back in time. Okay, we're 13,000 years, 13,500 years, and you have the same lineage. This would be the Olmec lineage right here, because it's the same lineage as the tribes in South America that are the Waorani, the Wayu, and the Quechuas in Ecuador, the ones that killed 5 missionaries in Ecuador. They're the ones that have the C paternal haplogroup. So, and their lineage is shown here going back 13,000 years. So that is probably the Olmec, 14,400 years. So that's probably the Olmec lineage, which is the same lineage, except it's a different branch, but it's the same lineage as the Polynesians, but it's C3 instead of C2. The Polynesians are C2. This lineage here that going to South America is C3, but since they have the same common ancestor, Nimrod, would explain why the Olmec population's look Polynesians, or the Olmec statues look Polynesian and not African because, of course, they have the same ancestor Nimrod and basically the same admixture, or similar mix between Hamitic and Eurasian. So that would be the Olmec lineage right there in South America. That's the one that used to be up here in Central America, but is here today, living in three tribes: the Waorani, the Wayu, and the Quechuas. They call them Aucas, savage Indian tribes. They have the same lineage of the C3 in America. So that's that. Now I just wonder what would happen if I looked up the C3. So I'll try this, see what happens, see if I can find. Oh, I can't find. There's no C3. Anyways, I don't want to waste a whole bunch of time. But there you have it. That was 15,600 years ago. 15,600 years ago, so they were here before the Olmecs, but they went either I'm thinking they went through the Bering Strait because they're in America. The C3 is in America too, but it's not showing it here. But they were in the MtDNA or MtDNA tribe in North America as well. But maybe they crossed the Pacific or something, but they were here before the Medes arrived in Central America. Because the Olmec population is an older population. It's actually supposed to be older than all these in South America places. But it was the Medes that populated North and South America, besides the Olmecs that were already there. So DNA doesn't lie. It's very, very interesting. And now we know the rest of the story. So the Medes are not Olmecs, but because the Olmecs arrived first, and they have the C haplogroup, and then the Medes arrived later with a Q haplogroup and the C mitochondrial and the A mitochondrial and the D mitochondrial. Now, I have to do some studying to find out what mitochondrial DNA the Olmecs had, or the descendants of Nimrod had. That would be a good study. But because there are old mitochondrial lineages in America, which we were looking at already in this video, but it would be one of these. Could have been any one of these. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and look at did we look at the CD? Yeah. We look at the C, D, G, and M. I'm a little bit worn out right now as to see which one could have crossed with the Olmecs, but there are mitochondrial lineages that are very, very old as well. But I forget which one it is right now. I just wasn't thinking too much. But I think we've exhausted our study for today. So thank you for your participation, everyone. And God bless everybody. Take care. The truth is more interesting than fiction every day, any day of the year. So now we know the rest of the story. Now we know the truth by following the DNA lineages, both Y chromosome and mitochondrial DNA, into America, because DNA doesn't lie. And these lineages are absolutely true. And of course, they're from the 16 grandsons of Noah. Everyone. Every one of us. God bless everybody. Take care.